Why are you living in the midst of a lower body pain pandemic? Part 3, Opiate Prescriptions, and is pain management harder than rocket science? This is part 3 of the information series on the lower back pain pandemic we are experiencing. Make sure you check out all parts of this series to get a full and comprehensive insight into lower back pain. Let's discuss opiate prescription. For a better acknowledgement of how severely we struggle with pain, there is some value in being aware of the opioid crisis that has plagued the US over the past 20 years. Prescription opioids are a justifiable tool for about 0.0001% of pain sufferers. The class of poor unfortunate souls who have suffered the likes of extensive burns or nerve damage, significant trauma and significant disease, are sound justifications for the use of this class of drugs. At the height of the American opioid epidemic in 2012, the number of annual prescriptions peaked at 255 million. OxyContin is to heroin what treacle is to table sugar. The distinctions are more micromolecular than they are meaningful. So realistically, this was a case of 255 million heroin doses being dispensed to chronic pain sufferers by American doctors in 2012. A huge number of these patients would have been back pain, hip pain, knee pain, foot pain sufferers, and the like. Statistics published in the American Journal of Public Health estimate that there were between 17,000 and 32,000 deaths from prescription opioids during 2016. Each of whom was someone's mum, dad, or at least someone's child, lest we forget what statistics represent. On top of the thousands of deaths, you can safely assume that for each death there are perhaps 5 to 10 or even 20 other patients living an utterly miserable addicted existence. The American CDC estimates the total economic burden of prescription opioid misuse in the US is $78.5 billion a year. Realistically, all the stats are glorified guesses. No one really knows how bad it all is. Death certificates for the 42,000 total opioid overdoses in 2016 do not make a distinction between deaths caused by illegal opioids like heroin, and deaths caused by prescription opioids. These opioid deaths are not like the inevitable toll we associate with extreme medicine, like emergency open-heart procedures where it was touch and go for the patient pre-admission. These are deaths caused by pain relief medications. If chiropractors dismembered 30,000 Americans during 2016, that would be shocking, would it not? It should be even more shocking that a single class of prescription pain medications, with very few sane applications, does. For some reason we tend to leave these kind of numbers under the rug, while others not so much. If chiropractors killed 300 Americans a year, you would hear all about it, lest they should kill 30,000. The human story behind the medically endorsed and executed opioid death toll includes the surface symptom that is chronic pain. It also includes the profound physical unwellness, emotional trauma, physical trauma, cycles of abuse, poverty, stress, poor diet, a lack of proper rehabilitation, and a severe lack of education. The type of patients who become opioid statistics are nearly always either the hardest of the hard, or the fragilest of fragile, or both. As a collective, they cost society more than all the other pain sufferers put together. They require more help and support than all the other pain sufferers put together, literally. The reality is that an inconveniently massive amount of love, care, rehabilitation, support and education is needed for many of these patients to stand any chance of a normal pain-free life. To respond to all this, not with acknowledgement, not with support, not with rehabilitation, but instead systemically sponsored drug dependency and societal addict stigmatization, is heartbreaking stuff. And the fact this happens in our supposedly modern world speaks deeply to our struggle with chronic pain. The rest? For the sake of brevity, I have carefully left out all the IT band issues: bursitis, piriformis syndromes, Achilles pain, calf pain, groin strains, hamstring issues, sciatic pain, disc injuries, shin splints, stress fractures, bunions, ingrowing toenails, Morton's neuroma, and others. But rest assured, they add up in a big way. I know this is a bit dry, but at least now you are fully aware of the vast and very human mess you are a part of when you live with pain. We have to ask this question: why does a global culture that has been to the moon struggle so much with something as basic as musculoskeletal pain? Is pain management harder than rocket science? So to my mind, there are really only two worthwhile questions to ask next, once we have become enlightened as to how severe our pain epidemic is. Very important question number 1, is there an actual reason or reasons for all this pain, or is it just an inevitable part of being human? Answer: yes, there are some really obvious reasons if you know what to look for. And no, on the scale that it exists now, it most definitely is not an inevitable part of being human. Very important question number 2, if it is not just an inevitability, is there actually anything we can do about all this pain? Answer: yes, there is a great deal that can be done to heal, halt and reverse the pandemic of lower body pain we suffer with. We can heal this, both as individuals and as a society. We are going to move past this the same way we moved past smallpox, polio, endemic dental disease and a host of other crappy chapters in our collective medical history. Pain management is not rocket science. You can trust me when I say that many of the most effective solutions are almost shockingly simplistic. As one small example of this, I personally know several hundred people who would be very happy to tell you that I helped them to resolve their severely debilitating heel pain using a porcelain soup spoon. And while many chronic pain sufferers do have complex webs of physical weakness, physical scar tissue and even emotional trauma that hold their back pain and knee pain together, in most of those cases it is really just about layering simple solutions on top of simple solutions. It really is not rocket science, I promise you. For most patients, being stuck with chronic hip, ankle or knee pain is a bit like having a nasty splinter in your finger, but also being part of a tribe in which almost no one understands how to get splinters out. That splinter could cause you a lot of problems, but not for the want of a complex brain surgery-like procedure, just for the want of some pretty simple wisdom. If you know how to get a splinter out, then splinters aren't a big problem. If you don't know how to get splinters out, over time they can cause carnage. If you peel back the real reasons we struggle so much with pain, they are complex, cultural, quasi-scientific and somewhat philosophical. But we aren't here to unpack how we got here. We are here to unpack what is actually causing all this chronic lower body, back, hip, knee, ankle, and foot pain. And we are also here to unpack what we are actually going to do about managing all this pain. Make sure you continue with parts 4 and 5 of this presentation, where I tell you about the real causes of lower body pains, and the best ways we use to help you. In the meantime, if you would like to come and see us for a consultation at City Chiropractic, give us a call now on 0438564446.